I always come back to this idea of having an empty vessel, and what does that mean? And in this stillness, what is found? And when you have the opportunity to insert power or energy into stillness, you have to be very selective with what is being put out. I come to every poem empty, hoping it to fill me again with whatever I needed to know or hear while I was writing. The page is just the safest place to be. You are directly seeing your train of thought become one with something that exists outside of you and will exist beyond you. And it becomes a documentation. Hello everyone, my name is Marjan Nadiri. In Farsi it is pronounced Marjan Nadiri. I am an Afghan American writer and educator. So I am the 2020 DC Poet Laureate. I am super into poems and giving my poems to people. In an alternate heaven for refugees, my people no longer kiss their ears to soil, hoping to hear the hums of an ancestry that once lived. Here power cannot twist our tongues and tie them around our throats. But I can't rewrite history the way they did. America knows what it did. How they stole stories of our freedom and our bravery and claimed it as their own. But here, America can't stain our white robes ruby red because here there are no borders. Do not call us dead, call us alive, because now we have the right to exist everywhere. Whether we call it home, or mosque, or church, or synagogue, or human love, if it grows here, it knows its place in history. If you're born here, this land will love you back. The poem itself is entitled Alternate Heaven for Refugees. It's after Destinae Smith's Alternate Heaven for Black Boys. As someone who is Afghan American, I find myself hurting so deeply, knowing that my brothers and sisters are passing on soil and there is no justice in their name. In this heaven, we whisper our own names in prayer. Allah rewinds every bullet, and all the boys win the soccer match. Trophies get washed up on seashores instead of the bodies of children who knew how to swim but couldn't. But there, missiles bang like an orchestra singing forgotten names there. Oppression became muscle memory there. We learned to count the dead and multiply body counts by the hour there. My uncle was left carrying half of the bodies to the hospitals and the other half to the grave there. My little brother cried prayers over my dead body every time he saw a piece of me disintegrate to powdered skull. But brother, I wasn't there. I was here. And I have nowhere for my hurt and my anger to go. I read this poem and I remember that I can revisit something that's been a vessel for healing for me once, and always will be. And I just pray that it extends for others and it serves them well. But brother, I wasn't there. I was here. Here. Instead of throwing rocks at soldiers, we tossed pebbles into rivers to watch the ripplings of recovery feed every thirsty body here. My mother's Yemeni grace pours upon me. My father's laugh lives in the olive trees of Palestine. Sockets of hope grow from Syrian soil here. I chant the Somali anthem and hear the wind sing it back. My sister's voice echoes in the mountains of Afghanistan. I earned this paradise by death I did not deserve, because someone, somewhere, prayed the pieces of our ancestry would rest in peace.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is what we call poetry. Shout out to Marjan Nadiri, and you are in for an incredible, powerful, enlightening evening. My name is Patrick Washington. I'm the poetry director for Words, Beats, and Life, and I'm coming to you live from Planet Word, the marvelous new museum, which is located on 13th Street Northwest in Washington, D.C. I believe the address is 925 13th Street Northwest. It's gorgeous. I'm coming to you right now from the Great Hall. And as you can see, there's a lot here. And it's interactive. It covers language and communication across cultures. And it really brings people together. This is a marvelous location. And we're going to take you on a sort of a tour, because our poets, our youth poet laureates, are going to perform from inside Planet Word this evening. You're going to hear from Sasa Aakil, the 2021 Montgomery County Youth Poet Laureate. You're going to hear from Charlotte Maleski, the 2021 Arlington County Youth Poet Laureate. You're going to hear from Sainey Ceesay, the 2021 Prince George's County Youth Poet Laureate. You're going to hear from Destinae Butler, the 2020 Baltimore City Youth Poet Laureate. And can't forget Amiri Nash, the 2021 Youth Poet Laureate for Washington, D.C. But first, before we get started, I'm going to introduce you to the host for the evening. It's my man, and he knows a little bit about being a YPL himself. So let's turn it over to the one and only Kenny Carroll.
Thank you, Patrick. Oh, that was a nice intro. And so very smooth. What's up, everybody? As was said, I will be your host for today. I will be yelling into your faces and letting you know who is coming up next. So yes, my name is Kenny Carroll. I used to be a youth poet laureate myself. And those were exciting times. But today we have a bunch of amazing youth poet laureates for you. So let's get into it. Reading the blurb. Greetings and welcome to the Word Power Festival, celebrating National Poetry Month with a weekend full of feature performances, special appearances by Words, Beats, and Life students and legendary art instructors, as well as out-of-the-box open mics just for you. It's all for you. It's all for you. Get all the details at wlinc.org/wordpower. Again, that's wlinc.org/wordpower. This event holds a special place in my heart. Anytime, you know what I'm saying, because I'm an old man now, they always get me to introduce the Youth Poet Laureate so I can remember what an amazing time in my life that was. I was the 2017 DC Youth Poet Laureate, and it was a blast. I don't think I would be who I am as a person or a poet without that experience. So I am so appreciative of this program, and I appreciate that it just keeps churning out, dope, super dope poets, and giving me a chance to just like enjoy them and also be inspired by them, because we need inspiration in these times. So I'm very excited to just sit back and watch it. I know you probably are too if you are here. So I'm trying not to talk too long. As Patrick said, we will be hearing from a whole array of poets. I'm gonna say their names real quickly just because I can. We got Charlotte Maleski, Sasa, Aakil, Destinae, Butler, Sainey, Ceesay, and Amiri Nash, all of which are gonna like blow your head up. I don't know the right analogy, but whatever happens when you hear something so dope and you can't process it, that's gonna happen. As was said, this will be happening at the Planet Word Museum. Hopefully, when the world is the world again, y'all can see it. I haven't seen it yet. I also want to see it. We'll see it together, you and me. Great. I think I've said everything I need to say. My only housekeeping things, because I don't gotta worry about y'all volume. You're not really talking. You're not really communicating. You're not interrupting the poet. Please support the poets in whatever way you can. They probably will tell you how they can, or you will see their ats where you can follow them. Please support the organization. Words Beats and Life does a lot of amazing stuff. I will be telling you a little bit about that as we go forward. And figure out what's happening with this Word Power Fest. Because fests are cool. That's why they're fests. Okay, I'm done talking. I'm tired of hearing me talk. You're tired of hearing me talk. Let's get to some poets. So first up, coming to us from my hometown, DC. It's always a warm place in my heart whenever I get to a kindred spirit. So what you need to know is Amiri Nash is an 18-year-old Washingtonian named by his parents after Amiri Baraka. Shout out Amiri Baraka. Amiri has always loved words, creating, and art. He is deeply inspired by Toni Morrison and James Baldwin. He studied classical piano at Duke Ellington School of the Arts in DC and enjoys to find parallels between storytelling on paper and on piano. He is the co-founder of the Sign of Justice Project and engages in activism surrounding Blackness. Amiri is currently a first-year student at Brown University, studying modern culture and media. His poetry is inspired by the politics of living in DC, his family, and the things that makes us who we are. I need y'all to give it up for Amiri Nash.
There is something poetic about beginnings. I begin in a city, Washington, D.C., to which my great-grandparents migrated in an attempt to escape the cruelties and anti-Blackness of the oppressive policies and blatant racism of the South. In one way, I am here because of hatred. My family attempted to remove themselves from it and, in the process, found a place that raised my grandmother, her brothers, my mother, and me. The elders in my family walk down the same streets that I do. Thus, our experiences, our beginnings overlap. In another way, though, I am here because of love. The courageous act of loving something enough to carry it with you from South Carolina up the East Coast. A body, a family, a dream, a beginning. I fell in love with words when I was a child. Train, plane, metro, art. Words are a form of power. I discovered poetry and quickly began writing as a way to give myself strength. There is a beauty in fitting things together, whether words or people, that do not typically belong together. Poetry teaches us this. DC could show us this. When you write poetry, the end of a sentence can serve as a beginning. You can punctuate however you want. A run-on can be proper, and there does not have to be such a thing as an end of a sentence. I can end sentences whenever I want, and in poetry, you have the freedom to deconstruct barriers and move beyond the confinements of regulations. If only life worked like that. But why can't it? When the insurrection at the US Capitol happened in January, I was watching it live on TV with my mother and father. My heart began to weep and my bones rustled. I kept opening my front door to see if I could hear them. I was shaking on the phone with my grandmother, who remembers Jim Crow in DC. She said she'd never seen anything horrific in DC in her life. I didn't recognize the city, and we were yelling at our TVs. I couldn't sit still. I was shaking in the same way that I was when I got robbed at gunpoint as a freshman in high school, waiting for my mom to pick me up at school. I was shaking in the same way that I was when I heard the Trayvon Martin verdict read as a child. I was shaking in the same way that I was when I came out to my parents. In the same way that I was when I watched the video of 66-year-old Muhammad Anwar being robbed of his life by violence just steps away from where I frequently take walks. Muhammad Anwar was a dreamer. He came to this city, like the matriarchy in my family, with hopes of beginning. He came to this country from Pakistan to build a new home. From his family's GoFundMe page, he was a beloved husband, father, grandfather, uncle, and friend who always provided a smile when you needed one. He leaves behind family near and far who cherish, love, and miss him dearly. Poetry taught me that you could exist between the margins of tradition if you're brave enough. DC taught me that too. But DC also taught me that this home has a long way to go before it is habitable by everyone. When I think about DC, the political kingdom, the artistic haven, the Mecca, the center, I think of home. Like words in a poem, a home is a place you courageously exist in with love despite hatred outside of the boundaries of expectations and tradition. Home, like poetry, is somewhere that you can exist in non-traditionally. Maybe I ended up in DC because of a combination of love and hatred. They can exist outside the margins of tradition together. But I only know this. If we want to live in DC, we have to love it with every shaking bone and rattling heart. I know about this love because to write poetry is to love. Love does not mean shying away from problems, gun violence, insurrections, and tragedy. Love means addressing the root. It means immediate action. The poetic aspects that can be found in beginnings need to be found in how we move through our city. A fresh start every day. Acknowledging the past, the ends that brought us to our current beginning, even if the ends are flawed. We have to plant flowers in the cracks of our city, in not just underserved communities, but in the structures that perpetuate oppression and peril. We must hold the roots of the flowers to our hearts and protect them like a mother protects a son. Like I wish I could have protected Muhammad Anwar. DC is a home, not a political playground or a village of violence, but a living memorial, a time capsule, a poem, and a memory. We need to place our love and care for societal issues in the capsule now. We have no other choice. This is the prize. We want to refine the capsule in years to come and fruitfully open all the work we put in now, so no one has to listen to their bones shake in thousands of unimaginable, unpleasant ways. This is our beginning.
Give it up for the poet. Give it up for the poet. That was amazing. Obviously, I can't hear you clapping, and I can't, see you. No one can witness you clapping. But we have technology, so wherever you're watching this, please feel free to give the poet a lot of amazing comments because that was an amazing piece. Wow. I think he said, "Oh, if only life could be a run-on sentence. If only we could do that here." Yeah, facts. Grammar's stupid. No. Beautiful, beautiful piece. Thank you, Amiri Nash. And you will be hearing more from him later, but we have 4 more amazing, amazing poets for you. So I'm just going to get into the next bio. So what you need to know now is Sasa Aakil is an 18-year-old artist, writer, and the Montgomery County Youth Poet Laureate. She is a potter, painter, poet, printmaker, bassist, and more. I can do one of those things. She has been active in the DC art community since age 13, facts, and is now pursuing a degree in fine arts. She has won numerous awards in writing and has been published in the Scholastic Best Teen Writing Anthology in 2018, as well as I Am the Night Sky by Muslim American Youth in 2019. She's been featured in the Washington Post and on WTOP for her work on her A Man Was Lynched Yesterday project and advocacy for Black life. She uses her art to address topics like race, religion, and identity, acknowledging, addressing, and actively working for or against issues that affect her people. Information about her visual and written work can be found on her website, www.sasaakil.com. Again, that's www.sasaakil.com. And hopefully she will plug herself so you can just find her. But with that being said, I need you to give it up for Sasa Aakil.
All right. Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you or see you on the screen. My name is Sasa Aakil, as you heard multiple times from my all-time favorite host ever, Kenny. So I'm here at Planet Word in front of the Word Wall, and I will be performing a poem, or multiple poems today that I hope you enjoy. So this first poem is kind of my introducing me poem. It's my this is who I am, and kind of my bearing of my soul. So I'm gonna do this real quick, and I hope you enjoy. Here I am, standing in front of you, wishing my fingers could move faster across your fretboards, wishing my fingers fit more comfortably on the edge of this pickup. I swear you've been a part of me since that time I found that the roundest sounds echo through the chest as if we are both instruments. I had not the space for you then, so I tucked your name away, held it quiet till the day I saw you and could no longer deny. These days my fingers smell like metal strings and machine heads. And I smile, because I never known an art like this. I'm not all too good at an art like this, but I smile, because my first love was the sea. As deep as these bass tones, they seem confused when they see this Black Muslim girl with a guitar strapped to her back, as if they expected me to go quietly through this world they've built, as if they expect me to leave my vocal cords and bass amp on mute, but nah. We turn up and shout the names of everyone we've lost. I think of Rihanna when I strum a B note, second fret on the A string, first chord of my heart, for we are both instruments, for they are a part of me and you are a part of me, and we do not forget their names, your name. In this life, it's taught me that the sin I've known ain't even sin, that there is no paradox in a Black Muslim girl with a bass, a pen, clay, and acrylics. These frets are made for ink-stained hands, hands in prayer, hands in salute. Don't shoot. I believe in God, memorial, and music. Power, prayer, and worship, and this be protest. Here I am, standing before you, a blue bass named Ocean, reflecting on sound and sea waves, counting tempos, counting names, 1, 2, 3, 4, Emmett, John, Brianna, George. I wish for a world in which they are still living. I wish for a world in which my love for you and skill are the same. I wish for a world in which people walk fully aware of their own heartbeats, knowing that we are all instruments. Thank y'all very much.
Give it up for Sasa! Give it up for the poet. Give it up for the poet. Absolutely amazing. Again, put your comment somewhere that the poet can find it. Tell them how amazing they were. Also, I just feel like energy, put that yes, go in Sasa energy out in the world. Also, shout out the lighting. Goodness, great. That was a production. I've never had that lighting before. So shout out Sasa, amazing poet. And again, you will hear from her one more time, but obviously you can find her at her website, sasaakil.com, because we love websites. Also, I heard that Planet Word is actually open. So I was talking about it in the future tense, but you could go there nowish if you wanted to. You know what I'm saying? It's downtown DC. Things are opening up. It's different. Get your vaccine now. I think we're ready for the next poet. And also, I know some of y'all are like, Kenny, you mentioned a word Power Fest thing. What is that? I'm gonna tell you more about it later, but if you feeling impatient, because I'll be feeling impatient sometimes, you can just go to wlinc.org. That's again wblinc.org, and just start learning about it now. You know what I'm saying? You don't gotta wait for me. We learn at our own speed. It is what it is. But if you down to wait, we got a few more amazing poets for you. So what you need to know now, coming up next, Destinae Butler is the 2020 Baltimore City Youth Poet Laureate. This powerful young youth poet laureate has represented Charm City with grace and determination last year throughout the pandemic. We thought it would be only right to give them their roses before their successor is decided at the upcoming finals. You can get all the details at domorebaltimore.org, but for now, please welcome Destinae. Welcome, Destinae.
My father makes himself God, says himself good at seasons, lets his cold fronts meet his warm fronts, then leaves me to be and weather the storm. Believes he is raising hell, sees me a burning bush, a manifestation of himself, sees my tears like the Red Sea. Parts them as passageways for his trauma. See, the devil may care, but my father doesn't. For the devil has no place in this church, or maybe this body or this spirit, so my father carries on, leaving me to carry his sins. And I sometimes agree that my father is God. The only way I can understand myself being crucified, while I'm constantly burned at the stake. See, I'm usually burned by his mistakes, and I often see my father like the earth. The way he makes mountains out of his mold, freckled body, then lets himself avalanche. Leaves me in the rubble, leaves me holier than thou, and maybe that's why I can never be whole around him. See, my father has a spine like a roadway. Says he can manage the curves, says there's no need in whining about the winding path his body has become, says here. Sciatica and slip discs become more like speed bumps than stoplights, my mother tells me. I'm not an architect, not here to fix his faulty construction, but I remind her that Jesus was a carpenter, and if he could find a way to walk on water, then maybe I could find a way to make my father love his daughter. So on the first day, I built hope and watched my home be destructed, and I wept like Jesus, because in a way I realized I am like Jesus. So I asked my God, why had he forsaken me? And in a way I never really knew whether I should praise him for creating me or rebuke him for never raising me. See, I just wanted to be his Lazarus, but my father knows himself a decaying temple, a house soon to be divided. My father knows soon he will no longer stand. My father knows the Israelites walked 40 years through the desert, but if the road to being a good father will take his last 40 steps, see, that just ain't a trip that he can chant. See, my father is a circle of a man, believing that all begins and will end with him. So today, I become an atheist, realizing I can no longer praise a man whose praise belongs only to himself, can no longer care for a man who cares more about himself than his daughter. See, I just ain't never been that kind of savior.
Oh, that was cold. Hey, give it up for the poet. Give it up for the poet. Give it up for the poet. The way it cut back to me, y'all saw me full watching mode, full embracing mode. I was still stuck on the my father is a circle. I wasn't even ready for that. Give it up for the poet. Please, again, you can put all your comments somewhere. I see some people posting. Again, go figure out everything going at Do More, because they do a lot of amazing things there. Shout out our Baltimore family. And go find more about Destinae. And I believe we will hear more from them. But at this point, I'm just, maybe that's me hoping. But a beautiful poem. And what does it mean to be a youth poet laureate in a pandemic? That's uh that's tough. Shout out to Destinae Butler. All up to you. Um, I think we will keep it moving, I guess. Um, who we got next? Who who is next up? Okay. So what you need to know, Sainey Ceesay is the 2021 Prince George's Youth Poet Laureate and a student at Prince George's Community College, where she has an arts concentration and is a recipient of the Dual to Degree Scholarship. She is an alumni of Eleanor Roosevelt class of 2020 and Joe's Movement Emporium's Creative Works class of 2020. As a Gambian American, her poetry touches on topics like Blackness and identity, social injustice, mental health, and gender issues. She likes to find and build community through her poetry and is a teen advocate for literacy, encouraging her fellow teens to write and share their story. Aside from poetry, Sainey also has an interest in sewing, fashion design, and photography, and works with the digital media collective known as the Media Bureau. She also volunteers with Prince George's Mutual Aid to help members of her community. I need y'all to give it up wherever you are for Sainey Ceesay.
Hey y'all, I'm Sainey, PG County Youth Poet Laureate. I'm coming at you guys from the library, and I'm gonna just get into my piece. The poem that I want to perform for you all today is titled "Apology Letter to My Body and Anyone Else Whose Love Has Been Constant." It's a very long title, but it's also the beginning of the poem. So yeah, I find that in processing emotions, like they tend to start in the body. So in releasing and healing those emotions, I also wanted to, acknowledge my body as the vessel that it is, and that is how this poem came about. So I'm gonna stop talking. I'm gonna just get into my piece. Yeah, okay. Apology letter to my body and anyone else whose love has been constant. Finding my way back to myself has been like clawing in the dark, and validating has only been me shouting I am to my anxieties. And I found that not operating on mute takes more than an affirmation, takes a conjuring of bones to dance in divine order, claiming my place has been like a fight of swords, of deciphering between hands that want to choke out my voice and those that only want to hold my own. And it's been too long before I learned the difference. So I'm sorry I haven't been showing up. Sorry I've been undermining all the ways you've only wanted to help me heal, turn my body into a crimson lined canvas just to map out the hurt in a way that I can trace. Sorry that I've been spending more time than I can justify, staring into cracked mirrors, refracted images that never gave me honestly, not sure why I sat and listened for this long, but actually, I've just been accustomed to fogginess, to drowning, to shadow side toxic, to looking for something to wear on my skin that feels worthy enough to cover up all this inadequate. Sorry about all the poison I allowed to occupy a body that only wants to do everything it can to keep me alive, denied its ability to perform alchemy, to get me to wake up being the exact same person feels a bit like magic. I know that you are a magician. Take this bone and this blood and this hurt, have it hold itself like a home, present its face like a girl, to whisper a death wish, to hold it close like a small hope, speak it softly so it can grow wings, reach my angels like maybe they'll find it okay to persuade God and tell her it's time I come home to my body. I am sorry, because all you've ever offered me was wholeness. Whole is all I could ever be, even when everything screams broken. Sorry that I didn't call the depression by its name each time I felt it, buried it under tiredness and wishaways and too many excuses. Sorry I haven't been showing up, been more shadow than girl, been creeping around these walls like a ghost or a spirit that only has eyes and no motive, been too many things I don't recognize. It's not to say that the battle is over, but an explanation for the way that I seem to keep shrinking. The first time you may hear this is in this poem, so I'm sorry that I've only given you a poem apology. Thank you.
Give it up, give it up, give it up for Sainey. She only got poems for y'all. Give it up for the poet. Give it up for the poet again. I know as a poet who has sometimes performed over Zoom and over technology, going back and being able to see people comment like that was amazing means so much. So please do that because these poets are absolutely amazing. Thank you, Sainey Ceesay. Again, you will hear from her one more time after this. But we are getting close to the center. So again, if you were curious about some of the stuff I brought up in the beginning, programs at Words, Beats, and Life, Word Power Fest, I'm about to tell you after this next poet. But again, if you're feeling impatient, because sometimes it just be like, when? You can go to wblinc.org and learn all about it. But keeping it moving, going to the next poet. Next up, we have Charlotte Maleski is a poet, musician, and filmmaker attending high school in Arlington County. Currently, she is serving as Arlington's Youth Poet Laureate of 2021 and is a member of the 2020 DCU Slam Team, Chaka Zoom. Her poetry was recognized at the regional level of the 2021 Scholastic Art and Writing Awards. She is an alumna of the University of Virginia's Young Writers Workshop. In 2019, she qualified at the county-wide level for the Optimist International Oratorical Contest. She first fell in love with spoken word at her middle school's poetry open mic. 3 years later, she has been invited back to this school and others across the country as a guest speaker on poetry. She's a rock star. She's a musician, an amazing poet and person. And she also plays D&D. That's not in the bio. I just thought you should know it. Please give it up for my favorite Chad, Charlotte Maleski.
So whenever you're ready.
Okay. To this camera? Yeah. Okay.
Oh. Okay, whenever you're ready.
Okay. Hiding. Hiding on me looks like long hair and a blouse. I remember the first time I bought a tuck shirt, questioning my mom why she put women's in the search bar. She spelled it out for me with simple words. Female, chest. I worked these to a blister. When my boxy, text-ridden t-shirts came off, the silhouette was still curved and I wanted to be crisp, like an ironed collar. In math class, I wanted to be the asymptote, straight and forever stretching, but I was the function, always hugging and finding restrictions. I was Zeno's perfect daughter, infinitely nearing that straight-edge body without ever arriving. My name is Charlotte. I'm the inaugural Arlington County Youth Poet Laureate. While I started poetry in 6th grade, there was something different about poetry being performative but also genuine. I've just always wanted, my words to have that power. That's what draws me to spoken word. It's an art form unlike any other. Hiding on me looks bare, clean-shaven. I don't know who told me my body hair was dirty, but it is dark, the color of Earth's flesh, warm as her embrace. Have you ever admired the way soil glitters, the organic glamour of flower beds and those fine bits of mica? I hide by washing my luster away with a razor blade, bulldozing over my body until it is clean. The title of the piece is Hiding. It was really a reflection of body image and the different facets of my identity. That poem does still feel really raw. I do think in the last lines, that question or request for the people who are experiencing the poem with me to help me come out of hiding is emboldening to me,
Hiding on me looks like refusing to burn, no matter how my body is whittled into matchstick and struck against the gritty box. When freshman year began, the hems crept higher, encroaching my covered comfort. I faced my stomach. In band class, we were taught to expand, let our diaphragms make way for the lungs, twin cavities full of music. I gave myself to this, gifted my breath to the wood, wanting to return the fibers to their trees and sing as if they had the wind in their arms again. I hide like shallow inhales, tucking my diaphragm under high-waisted jeans, stowing away the songs in my stomach. Youth poets are the future. Youth poets are expressing themselves in the most genuine, most vulnerable, and most powerful way. And I think that listening to youth poets is how change is going to be driven. Hiding on me looks like embodying half a dichotomy and stuffing the spectra in my pocket. I want to exist unrefracted, to be blinding without bending over backwards nor explaining myself away, because myself is magic and a magician never reveals their secrets. I wish to be iridescent light. I hide by shattering my rays into rainbows to prove all the colors are there. When will you shut your eyes and ignore the photons? Light is rapid, understanding is not. Take time absorbing me, and my light may spill out of hiding.
Give it up for the poet. Give it up for the poet. Give it up for the poet. Shout out my man Charlotte. Also strong choice to include the shirt tuck. That was a good shirt tuck. I will tell you, as somebody who sometimes struggles with shirt tucks, strong shirt tuck. We appreciate the the artistic license this is being used. Again, I'm talking, but I'm also giving you time to, compliment the poet, tell them about how amazing they did. So that they can go back and be like, oh, dang, people say, because that's the thing about sometimes being a young poet, being a youth poet, it's very easy to get into a place where it's like, bro, what am I doing here? Am I good? And, sometimes it's just nice to see some people being like, you dope. I saw your video. I saw you mentioned the isotope. I saw it. You don't got to do all that. But you're going to see some of these poets again. So please, whenever you have a chance, just tell them how amazing they are. Great. I promised announcements. I know some of y'all have probably been like, I don't care about your announcements, but they're actually a chance to find some other amazing events like this. So if you're having a good time here, you're enjoying what's happening here, you're going to want to be here for these other events, for these other opportunities. I'm going to just start reading them because that's the fastest way we can get back to the poets, the best way for you to get the knowledge, and then for us to get back to the poems. Sound good? Awesome. So follow Words, Beats, and Life on all your favorite platforms. That's easy. Easy. Part 1, follow Words, Beats, and Life. It's funny. I don't even see their @ right now, but the way that technology works, just look them up. Words, Beats, and Life. You're going to find them. You're going to find them. Like, they're official. Go. They have a site. They have everything. They're on Facebook, on YouTube. They're also on Twitch. Go find them. There are other words here, but period. They're on the platform. Okay, go to them. Other things. Special announcement. The Words, Beats, and Life Combine is happening in June. The Combine will be a virtual, this word, wow. I know I'm not going to say it right. I'm going to say it anyway. And let y'all critique me, okay? It's fine. The Combine will be a virtual decalathon. I know it's not decalathon. I'm being silly right now. I'm going to keep reading. Specific wordsmithing and performance events designed to test a wide range of skills such as writing, freestyle ability, and public speaking, which will be judged by WBL instructors and other artists. The event will run the range from improvisation to paper clipping to bilingual poetry, public speaking, monologue, etc., etc., etc. Keep an eye out for the fun. The best way you can learn about that, go follow Words, Beats, and Life. That's the best way to do it. just so you know, they post anything about it, you're like, oh, I see that. You know, you hopefully it's if I compete, hopefully they don't have reading because you know, young boy struggling. Enrollment is open for Words Beats and Life spoken word and performance poetry programming. So this is anybody in the DMV. Poets 13 to 19 can join. Poetry classes on Wednesday evenings with Rob Brown, or experience DMV Slam with Pages every third Saturday. Both amazing poets. Get more information at wblinc.org/slam. But you already followed them and went to their site, so you don't even need me to keep talking about this. And lastly, join the Words Beats and Life Summer Arts Academy 6-week class focusing on your choice of either visual arts, music, or performing arts for ages 12 to 18. And it's totally free. How much? Free. How much? Free. I don't know why I did that, but you just need to know it's free. And it begins on June 28th, and you can enroll now at, you guessed it, wblinc.org. It all comes back to the center, okay? The first one I said, just go follow them. Just go follow them. The way technology is set up, go follow them, go to the site. You're going to get everything you need. A lot of amazing opportunities, and they do a lot of amazing events. Also, support this organization if you can, if that is in your ability. Period. That. Besides that, also, Planet Word, the place that this event is being held in spirit, is open. Go there. Go there. Did you just get your vaccine? You know what I'm saying? Maybe you got a boo you've been waiting to see since pandemic started. You got a perfect place you got a new museum. It's a new museum. You'd be like, hey, I could take you to a new museum. You know what I'm saying? It's like, bro, I've been to all the museums, all the Smithsonians. It's like, nah. I got a new one. I don't know what I'm talking about, but please go to the place. It looks absolutely amazing. I'm very jealous I can't be there. Also, support every single poet you're seeing on here. You will see their acts again. Go follow them. If they are like, if they're like, I'm selling you something, buy it. If they're like, if they just put up their Cash App, send them 5. Send them 5. You know what I'm saying? Just send them 5. You don't need that 5. What were you gonna do with that 5? Come on, wasteful. And lastly, also the other organization mentioned today, Do More. Go support Do More. We're gonna hear from them. Their youth poet laureate and Destinae Butler. So please go support that organization because they're doing a lot of amazing things in Baltimore. If you're in Baltimore right now, why are you not already looking at them? That's what I would be doing if I was in Baltimore. Besides just being, I feel like learning all the Baltimore slang and being cool. Shout out the different slang in different places. I think that's it. I think I've said everything. You can also follow me at KennyC113. I'll probably maybe say that again, but that's neither here nor there. I've talked about this for how long? We're done with this. We're done with this. I think you're ready for more poems. So let's get back into it. Next up, I'm not going to reread their bios again, but I'm going to just kind of talk about them a little bit. Sasa Aakil, young Sasa, as we say on the streets. This young poet I've seen grow up so much. Such an amazing artist. Also, remember when I read her bio and she did everything? That was almost too much. I almost didn't like that. You know, it was like Sasa Aakil, entrepreneur, creative. It's like, bro, I can't even do pottery. I think pottery was, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. But this poet is absolutely amazing. I know you're excited to see it. I'm excited to see her again. Give it up for Sasa Aakil.
All right, I'm back. Hello, everyone, and I hope you're going to enjoy the second poem I'm about to do for you. This poem is really old. It's an old poem. I'm bringing you an old poem. Please forgive me, but I think it's still relevant today. So this poem is called Flag, and I hope you enjoy. You know me. I stand in the spotlight, center stage, never shy. I am proud pinnacle, star-spangled to mimic the night as if I were noble as she. I wave hello, goodbye, and good riddance, but never offer a hand to clasp in friendship. My friends are the hypocrites and the ones who forget whose blood dyed my stripes bold. I've watched thousands fight for me, die for me, fight over me. under me. As I waved a silent anthem above their heads, I am golden door, sealed with lock and key, symbol of the free, the ones with blue eyes, white skin, and red blood. I am witness to that lynching, to that car crash, to that funeral, to that inauguration, to that battle in the name of freedom, but really just to profit the powerful. I am passive. I have done no wrong, simply stood where they put me, allowed them to craft for me a story of righteous contradiction. I posed for Georgia O'Keeffe and let them sing that song for me. Oh, say, can't you see? The scene where they sewed me back together after the Confederacy ripped my colors into bold, crossed lines. I didn't mind. Never really mattered who stood for me, only that I stood. I pledge allegiance to myself, for myself, because no one matters quite as much as me, and I stand at the head of their movements. I stand for liberty and justice for
No, what do you stand for, Sasa? Everybody say boo technology. She was going into. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. Absolutely amazing poetry. Please give it up for Sasa. Give it up for Sasa, an amazing poet. Again, this was she just wanted to give y'all a taste. So now that you know she exists, go follow her. You will see her again, and she has a website, sasaakil.com. Sasaakil.com. Go there, and then you can see more of her. Okay, we love you, Sasa. I'm gonna just keep it moving because we're not trying to be here all day. Shout out to not being here all day. We're not church. So next up, we got our Baltimore City Youth Poet Laureate, Destinae Butler, our pandemic poetry youth poet laureate. I'm excited to see more of her. I know you are excited as well. Give this poet a round of applause. Whatever needs to happen to see her again, give it up for Destinae Butler.
Category is correlation. I got called a faggot before I knew if I really was one, but now, as I speak from the ashes, burning in hell like the bundle of sticks I am, because ain't it a sin to exist if not for a man? When this tree fell, you were not around to watch it bruise. But now you feel guilty for the blood on the leaves, left rubies dripping from these branches as a parting gift. You always said you would ice me out. But these chains don't feel like fashion, just you fashioning me into what you always wanted me to be. Category is sis. You be acting a little sus. Cause to be black and queer and come from a Christian family seem like a crime. Guilty, nigga. I be in God's gay graces, throwing popping pansexual pride parties in my personal purgatory. I be guardian angel. Like, yes, I am looking down on you, and I was doing that before I died. See, this is the time that the fall came before the pride. But if you want to find my remains, follow the rainbow, nigga. I'm golden like that. Category is queer as fuck and don't have to explain that. Stop asking for my nutrition facts, nigga. I'm fruity and you still can't taste that. Category is, these categories are starting to feel like confinement. I've gotten too used to diking, building up walls around myself, be a bad attempt at blocking the floods of unwanted opinions, but this feels draining. This feels like rinsing away pieces of myself for a piece that's bigger than myself, like mopping. Like we call shoplifting mopping, because this kind of shopping be the only way to lift the weight of feeling different in a society that wants you to be anything but. Like mopping is cleansing away at yourself in a way that still makes you feel dirty. Like mopping, like all this water don't wash away trauma, don't wash away sin, but this existence be a chore. So this generation here to clean house. We're tired of seeing dimes like me be swept under rugs. Ain't no more room to hide in closets. Cause nigga, my wardrobe is beautiful. This war pose is beautiful. This is what standing when society wants you to fall looks like. This is what pride looks like.
I tell about it. Hey, give it up for the poet. Give it up for the poet. Shout out that. Give it up for the poet again. Please send all your comments. Is Sasa Aakil back on the screen? What? You gonna finish up for us, Sasa?
Cool. All right. So I'm back. I don't know what happened, but I hope y'all can enjoy this poem again from the very beginning. I'm gonna do the whole thing. Hopefully I don't cut out again. So once again, this is my poem flag. You know me. I stand in the spotlight, center stage, never shy. I am proud pinnacle, star-spangled to mimic the night as if I were noble as she. I wave hello, goodbye, and good riddance, but never offer a hand to clasp in friendship. My friends are the hypocrites and the ones who forget whose blood dyed my stripes bold. I've watched thousands fight for me, die for me, fight over me, under me, as I waved a silent anthem above their heads. I am golden door, sealed with lock and key, symbol of the free, you know, the ones with blue eyes, white skin, and red blood. I am witness to that lynching, to that car crash, to that funeral, to that inauguration, to that battle in the name of freedom, but really just to profit the powerful. I am passive. I have done no wrong, simply stood where they put me, allowed them to craft for me a story of righteous contradiction. I posed for Georgia O'Keeffe and let them sing that song for me. Oh, say, can't you see the seam where they sewed me back together after the Confederacy ripped my colors into bold, crossed lines? I didn't mind. Never really mattered who stood for me, only that I stood. I pledge allegiance to myself, for myself, because no one matters but me, and I stand at the head of their movements. I stand for liberty and justice for few, and I rest on the coffins of the fallen ones because, if nothing else, I can claim their bravery. I am the home of the brave. The ones who spoke up and were silenced. You don't even know their names. I am red, white, blue, and beautiful, star-spangled, striped, and fly, and I fly over this land, a symbol of democracy, hypocrisy, and undeserved pride. I am American flag, a symbol of what is and what is to come, and what was never what they declared me to be. I stand for the land of the free.
Give it up for Sasa. Give it up for Sasa coming back to us. Great. I'm just gonna keep it moving and give it to our last poet of the night. You saw her before, you about to see her again. Give it up for your last poet, Sainey, Ceesay.
Water is the blackest thing I've come to know. Black and water go hand in hand and way back to the Middle Passage. Water remembers our ancestors who couldn't bear to have a spirit that wasn't free, so they jumped ship, shed the body so the soul could return home. You could not keep them in enslavement. And remembers those who could not survive the journey and were thrown overboard because they never bothered, but to leave black bodies floating in the water. And maybe there is something in our spirits that's been dying of thirst ever since. Black is water and thirsty for help, but Black people always gotta save themselves because everybody else finds it easy to look the other way and leave us to drown. Black boy drinking bottle of Hennessy like a magic potion. All his unacceptable emotions are washed down with the liquor and suppressed for a while longer. Water like 1950. Black body is barred from the swimming pool because black skin is too colorful and not lighter than a paper bag. The white faces laugh like, surely you ain't got no buoyancy in that body, and black skin ain't never come with the right properties to float. Your hair would get messed up anyway because your mama spent 2 hours to hot comb that hair. We have forgotten how much water we really are. Like black child telling black parents that they are gender fluid, and they tell them that's some white people-ish. And if you pray on it enough, then maybe you can dissolve your identity. Water like Flint, How they've been too content to leave Black communities with rusty water and lead poisoned water. How many times we have forgotten and remembered, and how they still can't drink from their tap to this day, but they say race ain't got nothing to do with it. Say, find a better place to live like. Can Black body become fish and swim upstream with all that magic you say you got? I once heard to withhold someone's rights to water is one of the biggest acts of violence. So tell me how this isn't war water. Like how Black women always gotta be vessel, a support and pouring even when not replenishing each time. We can only rely on each other to fill ourselves back up. Water is the blackest thing I've come to know. Like Black refugee finding its way in a melting pot, a fish out of water in a melting pot. They drink the assimilation, hot and steaming water, like how we were never taught how to swim. Have you ever noticed how the body is 70% water and 70% of us don't know how to swim to this day? Black children are at the highest risk to drown, water like Black depression. We are taught to swallow our sad and keep swimming because there ain't never been no sympathy for Black tears. Black can scream, and the world will still try to find a way to color our blues mute. We see water and Black hair. It is fluid and winding. Now they always want to be on our wave, want to be seasick with slick edges and waves, but never know what it feels like to drown or feel fish out of water. Just want to drink from Blackness without inheriting the Black blues, only want to dip their feet in the water without becoming it, and always quick to abandon before the osmosis creeps in, but they still say it ain't that hard to swim anymore. And if you want to know a magic trick, just say Black people invented water and watch white face turn flesh red with anger because they ain't come up with it first. All I have left to ask is, how isn't water the blackest thing you've ever heard? Thank you. Yeah, once again, I'm Sainey Ceesay. I'm coming at you from Planet Word, and I'm in the world room.
You love to see it. Thank you, Sainey. Give it up, give it up, give it up for the poet. Give it up not only for Sainey, but for every single poet you saw today. Support them, support Words, Beats, and Life, support all the organizations we've told you about. Planet Word is open. This was an amazing event. Thank you so much for having me. Be easy, people, and enjoy the rest of Planet Word Fest. See y'all.